What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. Today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Every once in a while, I like to cover everyday carry items here on Baz on Blades. And part of a man's everyday carry kit should be a nice watch. Now, I know that watches are sort of out of style in 2018. Everybody's got a smartphone. You've got the time, the weather, the temperature, the news, the internet, all there. But that is not a watch, guys. It is not as romanticized as a good watch. And every gentleman should be well accessorized. Women look at those things, even if they don't realize they are. Many times a gentleman will be judged on how he accessorizes. And one of the most impressive things for a man to have is a good looking watch. And one of the most popular styles of watches is a dive watch. They're big, they're heavy, they're manly, they're masculine. They say, "Come here, woman." That's a dive watch, guys, and that's why I like dive watches, because they are manly. And what we've got here is, in my opinion, and from my experience and from what I've seen, quite possibly the best $40 dive watch on planet Earth. And, you know, there may be something out there, guys, it's even better, but I've never heard of it. And I've done quite a bit of research on this. So what we've got here is from Casio watches, Japanese company. What we've got is the Casio MDV-106-1A, also known affectionately as the Casio Duro, and that is D-U-R-O. What we've got here is a fairly sizable dive watch. It is a stainless case, mineral crystal dive watch. And it is 200 meter water resistance rated, although it is not ISO 6425 certified, but it is rated from Casio for 200 meters. Now, do I think that a professional diver is going to use this watch to dive with? No, probably not. Professional divers don't use dive watches for diving and timing. They used wrist computers. Do I think that a professional diver might slap this watch on the wrist instead of a super expensive dive watch to use as a beater? Yes, I do. It's a very attractive dive watch. In fact, it hits a lot of bases that are now considered to be the classic dive watch. Look, you can see it is a black face, black bezel ring, dual finish stainless case in polish and in brushed finish. It is a 3-hand analog. It is a quartz movement. It is not an automatic. It is a Casio quartz movement. That movement is, what is that? The 2784, which I have been told is actually a Miyota 2115 quartz movement. It takes an SR626 battery and is rated for a 3-year battery life, which means that this watch that I paid $39.99 for, if the battery runs out, if I don't feel like replacing it, I just throw it away and get a new one. How's that, guys? This is a beautiful, beautiful watch. All right, so let's lock out some specs on it first, guys. We'll get our measurements done, get the numbers out of the way, then we'll take a little closer look at it. Your case diameter is 44 millimeters. That's pretty sizable, guys. When you're getting above 40 millimeter case size, it's considered to be a large size watch. And I will show you what it looks like on my 7 1/4, 7 1/2 inch wrist further on into the review. So you got 44 millimeters here. Your case diameter with crown is 47 1/3 millimeters. Your lug to lug length, overall length, is 49 millimeters. Your lug width for your strap size is 22 millimeters. Thickness, not too bad, about 12 1/3 millimeters, so a little thinner than most automatic divers. Your weights, the head by itself is 2.68 ounces or 76 grams with the supplied rubber dive strap. The weight is 3.25 ounces or 92 grams, and then with this NATO strap that I have on it, you're looking at 3.14 ounces or 89 grams. So it has enough weight to feel substantial, but it's not as chunky and big as some of the more expensive tool type dive watches. It's got a very high quality feel without being too heavy. And one of the reasons is it is a solid stainless case, guys. It's a very, very attractive, very chunky, very well made. While we're taking a look at it, let's go ahead and pull this strap off real quick, and we will take a look at the case back and show you what's going on there. As you can see here, it is a screw-on case back. It does have some engraving here. You've got the Casio Marlin, which they use on their 200-meter watches. You've got your information, your movement information, your stainless case information, water resistant, your basic watch information back there. Also, you can see it is a screw-in case back, which will be gasketed to get you that 200-meter water resistance. It is, the central portion is in a radial as machine finish. The bevel out here is polished, and then you can see the case back is in a machine finish also. Very attractive, guys. Multiple finishes: satin, brushed, machined, polished, all in one watch. And those finishes have to be done manually, guys, and which costs money. So you're getting quite a bit as far as the case goes for that price point. Now, as I said, guys, it does come on a rubber bracelet, or not bracelet, but strap, pardon me, and we'll just sort of line this up. And I took it off. I'm not a rubber strap fan. They sweat too bad for me. But that'll give you an idea, a crooked idea of what it looks like. I'm trying to straighten that out, guys. Anyway, that give you a good idea of what it looks like right there. It's not that bad of a strap. I've seen reviews that say that it's terribly cheap and crappy, but honestly, it's a little thinner, but it feels, the rubber sort of consistency feels a lot like the Seiko strap that came on my first gen Monster, which cost brand new almost 5 times, well, it was 5 times what this watch cost. So that's not a bad strap. I just prefer NATO strap for a dive watch like this. And you can see I've got it on a contemporary bond, what you would see a Daniel Craig era bond, not a Sean Connery vintage era bond. That's a totally different color scheme. But it looks fantastic, guys. The black face, black bezel insert on this black and gray quote-unquote Bond NATO strap. It looks fantastic. Now, you also get a screw-in crown. Just like any dive watch, this screw-in crown, it screws into the case with a gasket to make it water resistant. You unscrew it, you pull it out a notch, you can adjust your date. You pull it out again, you can adjust your time. This is a hacking quartz movement, meaning if you pull the stem out, it will totally stop the watch. So you can stop it with the second hand at 12 o'clock, do a very exact time set, and then go back. And when you're done, you just press it in, engage your threads, screw your crown down until it snugs down against the gasket, and you're done. Again, you screw in crown and screw in case back, helping you get that 200 meters of water resistance rating. Now, we will go into the bezel next. It is a 120 click unidirectional dive bezel. Your first 15 minutes do have minute hash marks, and then beyond that you're at 10 minutes or the hour markers. It's a pretty stout mechanical feeling 120 click rotating bezel, guys. It is not super smooth and high-endy feeling, but it is good feeling, and it doesn't have, it doesn't have much backlash in it, maybe about 1 millimeter, guys. That's not too awful bad for $39. Not too awful bad at all. It does look good. It is an aluminum insert. So, you're not going to get a ceramic insert for $39 or $40. The aluminum will scratch up easier. That's just part of it, guys. And speaking of, we do have a mineral crystal. It is not sapphire, which means it can get scratched up. Now, I haven't gotten any scratches on mine wearing it. I've not seen any scratches on it at all. We do have some fingerprints on it, and we'll bring our little cleaning cloth out here, guys. So it's been good for me. It has good optical quality. It's easy to see through. It does not have an anti-reflective coating, but it is pretty easy to see through, although you will get some reflection issues. You can see right there it's totally blocked out because I've got a big studio light shining down on the table here. But it is, it's, God, guys, $39.99, and look at this. This is such a good looking watch. Polished case sides with brushed top finish on it, and then in between the lugs is polished, guys. I mean, it's just a good looking and well done watch. It is much nicer than you could ever expect for the money, and it feels that way, it looks that way, it seems that way, guys. Now let's take a look at this face. Very minimalistic. It is a black face. It does have a sort of a sunfire type finish to it. It has the appearance of raised indices. I don't think that they're actually applied indices. They are raised indices. And what I mean is that face is probably a thin piece of aluminum that is stamped. And those indices, those markers, are raised from the back, giving it the look of an applied indice or an individual piece that is applied to the face. It does give it a three-dimensional look. They are three-dimensional indices there, and each one of them, the dots and the hash marks, is finished in a sort of a polished chrome looking outline, just like your case polishing, and then filled with loom material. And it's very, very high quality, guys. There are many $200 or $300 dive watches, Seiko Monster, that do not have applied indices or even the appearance of applied indices. So it is very, very high quality looking. If you'll look very closely at the hands, at the detail of the hands, they are silver with loom applied. Your minute hand is a sword type of hand. Your hour hand is a segmented arrow, so nice detail there. Your second hand is half finished in red and does have a loom pip on it. It's just very, very nice looking. And then you get this sort of minimal look here with a your Casio marking and sort of small but attractive script. Down here at the 6 o'clock position, you've got your Marlin and your water resistant 200 meter signifier. And then over at 3 o'clock, you have a very nice looking, small but nice looking date window. It is outlined and the date is black on white. So while it is not super large, it does look great, guys. You've got a split sort of delta type marker at 12 o'clock high here. And then you've got hash marks abbreviated at 3, but full at 6 and 9, and then round indices for your minute and hour markers in between. It does have individual second markers, but they are not on the face. They are moved out to the chapter ring here. And it's just a very clean, very minimalistic look to it, guys. It's got a sort of a Submariner-esque type look without looking like a Submariner, in that it is a black face with black bezel ring insert and a combination of hash marks and round indices. It's just a sort of contemporary, classic dive watch look, guys. It is just dive watch. I mean, it just screams dive watch. But it is very attractive, guys. I mean, I don't want to blow this watch up to be more than it is, but I don't want to cut it to be less than it is. It is a much finer timepiece than the price you are paying, guys. It is very attractive, very well done, very good materials. Guys, come on, $39.99. Stainless steel case, screw-in case back with some decent engraving on it. Screw-in crown with your crown protectors here. You know, it's solid and substantial, beautiful looking face here. With good-looking hands on it and good-looking indice markers, good-looking and mechanically well-made rotating bezel, guys. Honestly, it is the best $40 dive watch on planet Earth. But there are a couple of things that you give up at that price point. Well, Baz on Blades, what are you giving up? Well, the first thing is you don't have fancy materials. You don't have a sapphire crystal. You don't have a ceramic bezel insert. You don't have the ISO certification for it to be a quote-unquote true dive watch. But those things, guys, you know, a lot of times you're looking at $200, $300, $500, $1,000 depending on brand to get those features. You don't get the automatic mechanical movement in it like the Seiko has. You can see on the Seiko that the second hand is sweeping. That's an automatic movement. And then here you have the ticking movement on the Casio, and that's a regular quartz battery powered movement. And if I didn't say before, that movement is the Casio 2784 movement, which I understand is a Miyota 2115 quartz movement. It does take the SR626 battery, and it does have a 3-year battery life rating from Casio. So, you know, like I may have already said, the battery runs out, you don't feel like changing it, psh, throw that thing away, get a brand new one. There you go, $39 watch. So what you give up, that you don't have the automatic movement or the fancy sapphire crystal or the fancy ceramic bezel insert, you don't have that stuff. You do have a watch that looks much better, much nicer, and much more expensive than what it is. Now, one of the things that people complain about in their reviews of this watch is the Loom. And my thoughts on that. It doesn't really matter. Divers do not use dive watches the way people think they do. They have dive computers strapped onto their wrist, and that takes care of all the information that they need while they are diving. Dive watches in 2018 are more of a it's just more of a look, guys. It's a manly, blocky, tool, tough, beat up watch sort of look. And so I'm not really concerned about the Loom too much. But what we're going to do here is we're going to charge the Loom on these, and we're going to use the Seiko out here because the Seiko monsters, they're just famous for their Loom. And we're going to do a charge on each of these watches, and then I'm going to turn the lights off so you guys can take a look at that. And then I'm going to throw this Casio on my wrist, on my 7 1/4 to 7.5 inch wrist, and we will see how it looks, and then we will close this out because how many times can I say that this is just more watch than what you're paying for? It's just a super good looking watch, guys. Let's get these lights out, take a look and see what that looks like. All right, well, you can see right off the bat, I hit the camera in the dark. You can see right off of the bat the difference there, guys. Not only is the Seiko brighter, it has more charge density, but it will last longer too. Now, that said, you can easily see the Casio, and it will hold that charge for an hour, maybe 2 hours. It can be easily seen in the dark. And that's another problem I have with people going all crazy over Loom quality. If you are diving and you do use your watch underwater, you don't dive for 6 or 8 hours at a time. Most dives are about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I think you would have to be a professional diver to be under for any longer than that, depending on the type of diving you're doing, even though I'm not an expert on that. But that level of Loom that would last for an hour or 2 hours is plenty enough for me. Beyond that, I'll just pull the flashlight back out and throw some more light on it and recharge it. So, you know, not terribly bad. It doesn't look terribly bad. As far as the way the Loom looks, you know, the way it's laid out on the indices and everything, everything's done evenly, and it looks good. The design looks good, so no issues there. So let's go ahead and put this watch on my wrist. And again, guys, I put it on this NATO strap because I just don't like rubber straps. They're too sweaty. It's summer, it's 100 degrees outside with 400% humidity, and I can be inside in the air conditioning, and if I look outside the window, I start sweating. That's how bad it is. So there you go, guys. Again, I've got about a 7 1/4, 7.5 inch wrist, and that is the 44 millimeter case diameter Casio Duro. And it is just a good looking watch, guys. Not too super thick, so it doesn't sit up off of the wrist real bad. It looks fantastic on that contemporary Bond NATO strap. It would also look great on a solid black strap. And it would probably look good on a stainless bracelet also. But it is just a good looking watch, guys. And I honestly don't know of anything on the market. And I did some research, guys. I looked around pretty extensively, and I've probably watched about 10 reviews of this watch, and that's not typically something I would do before I do a review myself. But since I am not a watch expert, Admittingly, I am not a watch expert, guys. I did want to get out there and sort of learn from these other reviews. And when you go out and you see these guys that do nothing but review watches, and they typically have expensive watches, yet they pull this one out and they're like, damn, this thing is awesome for its price. And they're saying this is the best budget dive watch that there is, and everybody's just gushing on. And really the only issue they have is the quality of the loom on it, which is a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. I mean, guys, that's a lot of knowledgeable people agreeing with each other on the same exact points on this watch, and that is that it is so much better than its price. And we're going to take one more look, take one more close look at the face here, guys. It's beautiful, attractive hands, attractive face, attractive bezel design. The case, nice brushed finish, beautiful brushed finish on the face surfaces, and then polished on the sides, and then in between the lugs polished. Then your case back has got your brush finish and polish finish on it with the etching with the marlin on the back. It's such a good looking watch, guys. It just looks, you wear this, and unless somebody really knows watches, they're going to assume you have an expensive watch on. And you don't have to tell them that it's not. You don't have to tell them, no, I'm cheaper than crap and I bought this $39 dive watch. It looks that good, guys. So, Bazon Blades, are you going to recommend this watch? Yes, I am. In fact, guys, you're going to see one of these coming up sometime in the future in a giveaway on this channel. And any friends that I have that wear watches, they're liable to get one of these for Christmas, and I'm probably going to get one of these for my brother. This is a very impressive watch, guys. It is beautiful. It is well made, attractive in every way, a very high level of performance for what you're paying for, from a reputable brand, Casio watches. It is just fantastic, guys. Just fantastic. So, as always, I thank you for taking the time to watch one of my videos. I know this one ran a little long, but thank you anyway. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.